Hi, I had a couple questions. I was wondering if you could shed some light on my questions and maybe I could get a couple answers. They're kind of general questions.
Sure, you bet. Go ahead.
I uh I was confronted by an officer at my gate property line, and it was over a civil thing. I don't want to get too much into it right now, but anyways, I tried to quote to him. I read him. I didn't read him. I advised him of a statute that was in the criminal code, and he told me, "Don't read the law to me." Is that appropriate?
But he said don't read the law to him.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's inappropriate. Are you complaining that he was rude to you? Is that what you're?
Well, I don't know yet. I was trying to relay the information of my testimony and how I wanted to articulate a criminal matter that I believed was criminal, and he really didn't want to hear about it and told me, "Don't read the law to me." I advised him, "I'm not reading it to you. I'm quoting it from my head," and he said he didn't care. So it seemed like he was here for the first caller instead of the second caller being me, and I kind of feel like I wasn't allowed to talk about the criminal aspects to the degree I wanted to, and he did sound rude when he said it, and it was a very affirmative. I just feel like, how can people try to articulate the law and what they think's going on if they're not allowed to talk about it and under some kind of gag order from the get-go?
Sure, I understand. What's the case number?
Well, I'm not sure I want to get into it all right now. I just want to know, if am I right or am I wrong? Should he have listened to me more? Maybe he should have said, "Please explain more to me so I understand." It just seems like, "Don't you tell me the law," and I don't care if you're not reading it or and you're quoting it. I just don't care, and it just it turned me off. Like I wasn't going to be able to, and I wasn't able probably to articulate everything.
Sure.
So is that? You said you didn't know if it'd be inappropriate,
I
but
I, I don't know that it would be inappropriate. It just depends on the circumstance. I mean, every case is different.
what's your name again, Don?
Dawn, uh-huh.
Okay. Well, if you don't know about that, how about this? He then asked me if I was a certified law enforcement, and of course I'm not. I mean, and then he asked me if I was an attorney who was taking the bar test, and
Okay.
so I guess in his eyes, I'm not allowed to talk about the law unless I'm some kind of legal guy. And I mean, you guys go take reports every day, and if someone can't bring up what they know about the law, how can they get their story out if they're under a gag order and the officer doesn't care?
Okay. Can I ask you a question? What type of call was it that he was going to, or what were you guys talking about?
It was a civil case of a breach of contract, and kind of I guess the way it got reported was an argument between the contractee and the contractor.
Okay, okay.
And so he kept indicating it was civil, even though I had criminal aspects to report.
So the deputy believed it was a civil matter only, and you believed it to be a criminal matter.
Well, I believe that both of them were actually one and the same, and he kept saying his report was civil, and it seemed like he didn't want to. He also said something to the effect of that he'll determine whether there's any criminal conduct or anything like that on both parties, meaning the complainer, and well, there was two complainers.
Right.
And so if he's going to be the one that judges that, then it's kind of like, in my mind, he should take account of all accounts and let me speak freely. It's like his First Amendment anyway. He, Instead of telling me that he doesn't care and doesn't want to hear about it,
Right.
I was just kind of stunned. I actually sat there for a couple seconds, what? To myself.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, we can certainly look into it, sir. I mean, I'm not. I would have to look into it before I could tell you for sure what the situation is.
Well, how about this then? If I advised him I had a contract with the guy and he's telling me my contract's no good, even though I haven't, even though the officer hasn't seen the contract at that point, because I did show him after that, and then he told me that I asked him, so what's your legal advice then? Do you take it to small claims courts? And after telling me my contract was no good, he did give me legal advice to take it to small claims court. And so I don't know what to think. My contract, I thought it was good. He says it's not. And then something else. Oh, do you care to comment on that a little bit, or you don't know? It's not enough. I don't know.
I well, I'm just trying to give you what little information I can based on what information you have from me. But he apparently you had a contract that he was able to look at. Is that what this was?
Right, because the guy that called originally didn't look at it,
Okay.
and the officer told me my contract was no good, But then I asked him if I should go to small claims court. Is that your legal advice? And he basically indicated that was his legal advice. I kind of thought they weren't supposed to give legal advice. And then if my contract's no good, why is he telling me to go to court and waste my time? I feel like I was ran in some circles. I was standing in one spot.
Right, right. Well, maybe, and I can't talk for the officer because I don't know who it was, but, if he couldn't find a criminal aspect of what was going on between you and this other subject, he probably felt like the only recourse that you would have is civil court.
But that's because he wouldn't let me articulate in detail, and you really got on my case about trying to tell him the law.
Okay.
Here's another one. He indicated that the guys that called it initially before my call that they'd won in court against another neighbor in a civil matter. And my neighbor said that they won and that this other guy lost. And the officer told me that these other people I got my information from was lying. He basically called them liars, and he smeared their name because they're good people. And that he indicated that I should look at the case closer and see who won the case or not, because he believes Mike was awarded the case, this guy I know that the dispute was with. And then what happened is, after he indicated that this other guy won the case, I tried to let him know that these other guys said they won. No, those guys lied to you. If you got your information from them, they lied to you. So he wanted me to look at the case closer, or he said if I see it, I can believe it. So I went to the neighbors and I got a copy of their judgment against this other neighbor, and it turns out the officer lied to me. He said he reviewed the case and that this other guy that I was complaining about won and the other neighbors didn't. But I have a copy of a judge's order that the people I said won, and the officer told me they were lying.
And this was another civil case?
This was the same case that I was talking about with the guy, but I was talking about how the guy that did me wrong in the contract did some other neighbors wrong.
Okay.
He told me the neighbors lost, and he reviewed the cases on the way over here, and he knows because he's a sheriff. And then I went off his advice to find out if what the neighbors were telling me was true. And from the court records, it says the neighbors are true and the officer lied. Is that appropriate for him to be saying that neighbors are lying when he doesn't know?
No, sir, it's not.
That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
So would that be a basis for an internal affairs complaint that he's kind of smearing?
Are you making a complaint, sir?
I'm not right now. I want to know if I have the basis for one, and I'm just trying to get a general.
Well, it doesn't matter whether I think you have the basis for a complaint or not. If you have a complaint, then we can look into it. I can't tell you whether you have a complaint or not. If you have issue with what he did or how he behaved or the manner or conduct or his policies or procedures, then you have a basis for a complaint if you choose to complain.
Like he said that my complaint's no good, and then he gave me legal advice to go to small claims court. So what if I lose?
Well, now what legal advice did he give you?
To take it to small claims court when I asked him if that was his legal advice after he told me the contract was no good. So is he setting me up for failure, or does he maybe think my...
Well, he can't tell you, absolutely if it's good or bad. If it's not a criminal matter, he probably would refer you to claims court if you so choose to do that. That's up to you. I don't know that...
Okay,
I'd have to look at...
Do you have an email at your department to do a IA complaint?
I can take an IA complaint from you, sir.
You can?
I can. Go ahead, give me your name.
I'd like to put it in writing, because what happens is I can think about it better. And like when this guy shut me down at the gate, I couldn't think. I thought I wasn't allowed to talk about testimony and evidence relating to a Title 13 crime.
Okay, what is your name, sir?
Can I just fill out the form and then I'll put your name on it, Don, and then you can get it that way?
Well, we don't have actual forms that we fill out unless you want to write a letter to me.
Okay, I'll do that. Is that okay with you?
Sure, that's fine with me.
Okay, at this point, Don, I think I got enough. I mean, you said that one issue was kind of inappropriate. I don't believe you should be smearing the neighbor's name. So I'll get you all the information in writing, and then we'll see where it goes.
Do you want my address here?
Is it the Sheriff's Department address?
The 1750 East Benson Highway.
I have it. What's your whole name, Don?
Detective Dawn Parkmen, Barkman.
Okay, and you're with...
What is your name, so when I get the letter, I'll know who it is?
IA. My name is Mr. Ray.
Mr. Ray?
Yes, and that ought to be enough for now to let you find me. But I have to make a quick trip outside the gate right now, and so I'm going to cut this short. And thank you for your time.